This week has been a really controversial one on campuses because of the annual Israel Apartheid week that goes on campuses. And it's disturbing. It's disturbing on a number of levels. First of all, I have to start by saying this year is different because in Ontario, Canada, there's been a government ruling and attention paid to the use of the term apartheid. It's actually been decided that that's an inappropriate and inflammatory term to be used and will not be used in the future. Wonderful. Certainly when it comes to academic settings, that's wonderful. Because academia shouldn't be a place where language is used in a propaganda way and in really a careless way. If any venue requires that there be tight use of language, it should be on university campuses and academic environments. So as an academic, I'm actually breathing a sigh of relief that really people are going to be held to account for the terminology that they use. Absolutely. The other part of what's going on is this kind of new approach, though it's been going on for years now, that one can safely criticize Zionism and distance yourself from saying that that's an anti-Semitic stand. There is no difference between Judaism and Zionism. It is blended together. It is one and the same. It can only be artificially separated out by someone from the outside who wants to safely criticize Judaism and safely create a hatred approach, but knows that they can't get it by the people who would listen to it and recognize the clear anti-Semitism, so they're going to head towards Zionism. And I want to really separate the two out because in my thoughts they're very separate. One can, and it does, look at some of the decisions that Israel makes, both internally, externally, in the international forum, and you can discuss them, and you may suggest, a better route that might have been considered, or maybe Israel's doing it because of pressures it's feeling on this side. There doesn't have to be a blanket acceptance of each and every decision Israel makes. That's different. That's political critique. And someone who lives in Canada or in any other parliamentary system, all you have to do is watch your parliament. It's way worse. It's as if you can't enter the Canadian Parliament without first agreeing politically that you get the right to stand up, point fingers at your opponent, call them names, tell them they don't know what they're talking about, tell them you could do it 15 ways to Sunday way better than they could, and now you've actually served your party correctly and you can take your parliamentary seat again. This is part of the political forum. That's different than anti-Zionism. Anti-Zionism approaches the concept and the idea and then undermines that. The idea that the Jewish people can and legitimately do have a homeland is not criticizing Israel, it's criticizing the Zionist concept. That is anti-Semitic because ingrained within Judaism, within the view of covenant, within the nationality of Judaism, within the religion, within the culture, within the text, anywhere you're going to look, is the connection to the land of Israel. It speaks to and from every Jewish value, everything that informs ritual and identity. To say that I'm not talking about Jews, I'm talking about Zionism, is simply pulling a fast one or trying to pull a fast one, but it is a difference that doesn't exist. It's an artificial difference that allows a person to then spew anti-Jewish rhetoric. You cannot separate Judaism and Zionism. That is different than political criticism. One can have a discussion on Israel as one would fairly have on any other country. It has to be a fair discussion. The moment it's going to head to any kind of unequivalence of moral discussion or Israel be held to a higher standard, which really gets to me, I've never understood that one. But the idea that we're hearing over and over that I'm not saying anything against Jews, I'm only speaking against Zionism, should be dismissed, should be challenged, should be confronted each and every time we hear it. Israel Apartheid Week is undermining Zionism. It is heading to the concept. It is undermining the concept. It is condemning the concept. It is targeting Jews. It is targeting Jewish values. And it is under the guise of separating out politics from, of course, what everyone would recognize as hate language, but it's a guise. And I'm very relieved this year, actually, that finally it's as if the veil is being lifted and people are able to look at it critically and say, how are you using language and what is it exactly you're talking about? And what you're representing actually isn't what's going on. Let's take a closer look. It's a sigh of relief that we finally got there. Let's just support it. I think we should be in touch with those who are doing that, supporting their decision, giving them the momentum they need so that we finally are able to enter a brighter kind of vision of the whole thing and recognize when someone's trying to pull a fast one.